It's Megan with Historical Home Rehab. And in the last video, I showed y'all how we got all of the drywall up in this bathroom that we're working on right now. In this video, I wanted to focus on the very next step, which is taping. Usually taping and bedding or taping and floating go together, but my goal in making this video is really just to show a simple step-by-step way to do taping, and then I'll make a separate video for floating. This would have been helpful when I was first learning how to do it, and so I'm hoping that it will help somebody else. I am by no means a professional, but the way that I do it works, and I've done it enough now to where I know my results are good. So hopefully this helps you. I'm ready to get started. And so I have my very first seam that I'm going to do. And you can use a tape measure to measure how long it is, or what I like to do is just hold your tape up. See about where you need to make your cut. And then I just use my scissors just to make my cut right there. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it needs to be close. So about like that. And remember, you're going to have tape going down in the corners and then tape coming around this corner. And so it doesn't have to go up perfectly right to the very edge. Okay, after I've figured out how long my tape needs to be and I've cut it and put it to the side, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trowel and my joint compound. And I'm basically just going to put a layer of joint compound on the seam and really kind of bed it into, like, in between the two pieces. There's a little bit of a gap in between the two pieces of sheetrock, and so I want to make sure that that's filled with this. And so, I don't do this all the time, okay? Like, I do this every once in a while when I need to, so I am not like the most coordinated with this stuff, but you don't have to be a professional to do it. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you get a lot of extra on here, at least to me, because you're going to end up squishing it out. You just want to make sure that your tape has enough stuff to embed in. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do, and this is really important, is you have your bucket of water. And there's just barely any water in here, but it is enough to where what you're going to do is take your tape and get it wet. It doesn't need to be dripping, but like I do go ahead and saturate it. Like I put it all the way in the bucket, and then I just take my fingers and I just wring the extra water off so that it's wet completely all over both sides. Okay, so now I have my tape that's wet. I've wrung out the excess water. There's no more drips coming off. And so now I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to press it into my mud, making sure that it completely covers the seam. Okay, after that, you don't need any more mud, so you just scrape that off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use your trowel to just push it in. Obviously, I had a little bit extra water on there. You just want to basically use your trowel to squish the tape down and squish the mud from underneath the tape out the sides and just scrape it off. Kind of the best way I can describe it. And you can tell You can tell when you've got it all out. When you go over and there's no bubbles and your tape's just laying perfectly flat. So basically, just like that. Now, for me, at this point, I don't do anything else with this, okay? I just move on to the next seam. Because what I have found is if I go ahead and start trying to put some mud or joint compound on top of my tape, then what happens is it will dry, that outer layer will dry faster than what is behind the tape, and it will pull the tape off of the sheetrock underneath. And so what I found is if I'll go ahead and just don't put anything on top, just leave this alone until it completely dries. Sometimes I come back like the next day and we'll do stuff on top of this. But basically, I don't want to do anything until this completely dries. Okay, at this point, I'm ready to do my inside corner. And really for the corners, the process is the exact same. And for the inside corners, I even use just the regular paper tape. I don't use the reinforced stuff unless it's an outside corner. So same process, just put mud on both sides. So like this side and this side, make sure to get the mud in between the two pieces in that gap. And then use my paper tape. And when I put it up, it's already kind of pre-folded, and so just this is going to go on one wall and this is going to go on the other wall, and it'll basically just be like this. So it's pretty much the exact same process. Inside corner, the outside corner, the only difference is you use the reinforced tape.